Hello, hello. As you know, I'm the grandmother of a new granddaughter. And we've already had a crisis that I have had to call in, reinforcements because my son took a picture of this little child, 10 days old, and she did not have any shirt on. Well, he was raised with a mother who was allergic to every draft that came around, and I just couldn't understand what happened here. And so I undertook to question my son why, and wouldn't he please put a shirt on that little child and not expose her to the drafts unnecessarily. Well, I think that, and my sister, without even any prodding from me, asked when she saw a photo of the child on the social network, where is that child's shirt? So I hope that my son confessed to being the one that did it. The mother objected, and she did not want her child going without a shirt. But I don't know,
where do these people come from?
They don't want babies to go without their shirts?
I have news for you. I've been around a lot of young girls, like 3, 4, 5 years old. And
running around without shirts on? Oh.
No, run around with any clothes on. During in the bathtub, I took a picture of them.
No.
They're sitting there.
No.
I'm not even going to tell you about the boys, okay? Holy crap.
I did have a daughter-in-law who insisted on, letting her little babies go without shirts. And her mother-in-law, gently tried to.
Now, see, I can understand the underpants thing. I understand the underpants thing, Especially guys go without shirts, but they're running around in a
I'm very surprised that her children have survived. My oldest, her oldest son is my grandson, and he has survived his mother letting him go without a shirt. I don't know how.
Go out to a nudist camp. You'll see little kids going around going.
Not my grandchildren, because I was raised in in houses without central heating. And I was probably cold the whole time, the whole winter I was cold.
Tell them about the part where you had this little house in the back.
And my mother and dad, they didn't believe that kids should ever share their beds, even if they were over there freezing to death in a little old crib. And
boy, if I got some bad news to tell you. But a 6 kid.
They didn't believe in. My mother didn't believe in. She wouldn't breastfeed either because she didn't like the little child getting that close to her.
With the 6 kids, we had 3 sleeping bags.
And,
okay, the 6 kids, 3 sleeping bags. 2 boys in one, 2 boys in the other, and 2 girls in the other.
Oh, sleeping bags.
And then
2 girls in one, 2 boys in one. Well, they were keeping each other warm. Obviously, the mother wasn't going to get any sleep at all if all 6 kids was laying out beside her.
Well,
or tried to get in with her and the dad.
The point is that we shared a sleeping bag too, but it was a lot more fun, I think, that the kids were doing.
Well, during the period of time when American women got completely away from breastfeeding, they decided that was not cool.
Yeah, but that was the American Revolution,
so they could just throw that kid off over in another room, give it a bottle, and it could just freeze to death very freely all by itself. And it could cry its eyes out, and Dr. Spock said, don't pick up that baby, let it cry, it's good for it. And so that was how I was raised. We could have cried ourselves. We could have cried for 9 hours. My mother said, that child needs to learn she can't boss her mother and dad around. So I was raised under very tough Spartan conditions. And
I don't
so
think
when I
it's-
started breastfeeding,
I don't think the Spartans
you know,
did that.
I was trying to go by, well,
The
jump
Spartans
up.
from Crete.
I would jump up, breastfeed the child, and I'd let it back down his crib, and I'd try to get back in bed. And then pretty soon, the kid would start yelling again, and so I have to get up, nurse it. And so finally I thought, this is just ridiculous. I'm putting the baby in the bed beside me. Well, this uncivilized man that was over there said, "Y'all don't put babies in bed." I said, "Well, you do if you breastfeed them, dummy. Do the animals in the woods, do the animals out there, they're breastfeeding their babies."
I never breastfed a kid in my life.
You probably weren't even, well,
Never
when you
breastfed.
breastfeed, you have to get the baby close to you.
I
And
would
you get
certainly
tired of
hope
jumping
so.
up all night and trying to
What do
throw
they
it
have
back
to
in
do?
its
Little
crib, because the baby
milk thing,
is,
just milk it off of there and then
starts feeling like it should be with its mom. It should be snuggling up to its mom after it breastfeeds. They don't like to be put back in the cold crib. Well, and you got to persuade this barbarian next to you that
Why do
listen to
you
Dr.
keep going
Spark.
this my direction? I'm not a
Dr.
barbarian.
Spock, well, the one I had then, Dr. Spock. So then what he'd do, he'd say, just get out of this bed. If you're going to spoil that child by putting it in our bed with us, you're both going to have to get out of this room. Because I'm the man here, I say what's what. And I got to work in the morning besides that, and you two are keeping me away. Because, you know, he was so convinced that no baby should be in a mother and dad's bed that he couldn't even sleep if a baby was there.
Well,
If it was, it'd go right to sleep, it wouldn't even bother him over here by me. That baby's in this bed, and so.
Well, see, I happen to know personally.
No.
I happen to know personally when that happened.
Well, have you ever had a nurse breastfeeding wife?
No, I'm just trying to tell you that I had a wide range of experiences in life, and I know
Yeah.
is a lot wider than you. Yes,
Oh,
it does
of
happen.
course
She
you
rolled
have.
over on her baby, and the baby suffocated.
Oh, baloney.
No, it's a fact.
When
I don't make this
an
shit up.
animal in the wilds, or
That
your
was your
pigs, so your
sister.
pigs could have 7 little pigs. Well, a little teeny runt might end up dead, or you might say, well, that old mother.
Oh,
rode
you
on.
missed it on television this morning. The doctor said 17 puppies.
Well, believe me,
Wasn't a world record.
breastfeeding moms
24 is a
soon
world record.
become very aware of that little baby, and they don't roll on it, and they don't kill it.
Bullshit.
If they think enough of the baby to breastfeed it, they're sure not going to lay on it and kill it. They can possibly help it. I never had a bit of problem. Besides that, the little baby
You think a woman
doesn't
does
like
that
to
on
be.
purpose?
It's not going to be crushed. It's going to scream and holler. You can't just lay on it without it. Just give up without a. No. People talk about that, and that discourages women from breastfeeding their kids. It becomes too much problem because they can't lay the baby down in a cold crib. The baby doesn't like it. And so as a result, the breastfeeding mother's up all night long trying to, do what? Instead of just laying down, breastfeeding the baby whenever it wants, like any other sensible animal does.
No.
You don't
I know
take the
animals
baby
don't
and
have
throw it
cribs,
over
okay?
there. You
First of all,
let the baby
you
sleep
made a
next.
mistake. You should have gotten into the crib with the baby. Okay?
Well,
When
the
you're done
barbarian
feeding it,
husbands,
you get out of the
I've
crib
been
and
all
go
right
back
with
to
them.
bed. See,
They're perfectly
that
all
guy's
right.
nothing complicated with
Well,
that.
yeah, he'd throw me, my barbarian husband, and make us go out and sleep on the lumpy old couch that wasn't even long enough for me. That's just like sleeping in a crib. If I could have gotten a crib, he'd told me,
Well,
get in
I just
the,
tell
if
you.
you want that baby sleeping with you, you get in the crib with it. But don't bring it in my bed
See,
with
I
me.
just made a suggestion, and now all of a sudden you're trying
Oh.
to tell me that you were married to a real obnoxious.
Yeah, but when
Asshole. That's
after
what you
he
said.
had, after
All men are obnoxious assholes, and since I consider myself to be one of the big OAs of all time,
Well, I find
I have never had that problem with, well, I did have the 2 girls one time. You know, I used to sleep in the nude all the time, and they came.
Oh, for God's sake!
Well, no, they.
Well, I'd have thrown him out.
They came.
Barbarian.
Well, we got 6 bedrooms for crying out loud.
Are you kidding? How could a child come to the bedroom and get with a mom and dad when the damn dad was there net nude? You should cover it up just for that.
I was.
Oh, dear. Oh.
Well, getting back to the main point here is that.
Well, this is a very
It doesn't make any
elemental
sense to me.
question of how you start your children out
Get
in
2
life.
Band-Aids here. Just put 2 Band-Aids on the kid. Here is a basic primary question that's never been answered by me or anybody else. Why do men have... What's it there for? I mean, what?
I don't even care. They've got them, and
well, I do, but they ain't doing me any good. I don't get it. You know, it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, this is called bringing up something that is not really that important.
Well, hell, it isn't.
It is not important, so why bring it up? Well, we know why he's bringing it up.
Why?
Why do you bring up a lot of things?
Well, you're the one that said your son got in trouble for putting a picture of his daughter on without his shirt on. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, he didn't get in trouble, by the way. This baby just looked very healthy, very ready to take on the world, and smart. Oh boy, I just thought, oh, this is a wonderful child, and the mother is determined to breastfeed, which is, even in our day and age, that takes courage and determination to try to change your way of thinking. If you've been the kind that thinks that...
But unfortunately, most women, and I say most, it's like 51%, don't want to breastfeed, and the others may not be physically able to produce enough milk.
Oh, most every woman is able to produce enough milk. That's another fallacy. That is another way that doctors and people who don't want breastfeeding discourage the mother. That's how my mother, my first baby, he was doing just fine. He was healthy and strong, but she'd look at him. He's starving. You're not giving enough milk. You don't have enough milk. And this kid is starving. And even though the kid was bouncing around, and I thought, oh my gosh, he doesn't look starving to me, but Mom says he's starving.
That is funny.
Well, give him some formula, at least. 1 bottle. And so I thought, oh my God, maybe he is starving. It was my first baby. I let her talk me out of it. I let her talk me out of breastfeeding and her motives for doing this, well, she didn't do it. And it just kind of irritated her to see this happening, her daughter doing it. And so the next baby come along, I said, I'm nursing. And all the rest of the daughters nursed their babies. They didn't let my mother stop them. And this is what happened. This is what happens when you don't nurse a baby. The baby...
I'd kind of like to hear this one too. This ought to be a tip.
Baby knows that life comes from the bottle. The bottle. And I doubt if this guy was breastfed.
Sooner or later.
You breastfed. Did your mom breastfeed you? You know? You know whether she did or not?
Yes, and she was always sorry about that too.
Oh, yeah, right. I doubt very much.
You keep hitting me all the time.
Because my oldest son... He grew up, he didn't have that bottle, he didn't need a mom. What did he need a mom for? He was a very independent little cuss, He was ready to grow right up and go to work.
You call your son a cuss?
He was and so he said, what do I need a mom for? I've got my bottle here.
Right.
Well, he's 61 years old and he still feels that way. What do I need? On the weekends, what do I need of my mom?
That's what I look at it.
I've got the bottle. I got the beer to drink. I got wine to drink. And right to this very day, my oldest son, he needs the bottle on the weekend. He needs the bottle because he grew up that way. All I need is the bottle. I don't need a mom. What do I need a mom for?
Well,
The essential thing of
well,
feeding him, he didn't need her for that. All he had to do is have that
I
bottle.
understand what you're trying to say, okay?
Well, it's
My
very
first
going
wife
to
did-
have
my
your
first
son choose the bottle over you. Right to this day, I have no relationship, not a very strong relationship with my oldest son at all, because he is like this guy. He's
I am not like
dependent
him.
on the bottle. Listen, if I tried to come between you and your drink, who would win?
I don't have
The
a
drink.
job.
The
I
drink.
don't work in a hard job.
Yes, but I've told
I've been
you
retired for 25
many
years.
times. Our relationship would be far better if you didn't have that coming between us. If you had to give up that,
Well, just be thankful that I
Me,
don't drink
you would
beer
take-
bottles, you know, the ones that really look like a...
I am not thankful at all. I am disappointed and disgusted to think that you cannot give up something like that for a relationship. And I'm pretty sure it started right when he was a little baby.
That's
He
right.
decided he didn't need a mom and he didn't need anybody that
That's
bad,
right.
but he did need this to survive.
You know, I always asked my mother when I was about 2 or 3 years old, I said, Mom, I said, do all of the bottles with nipples come on the end of a beer bottle? I mean, is that the way they all come, like on a beer bottle with the nipples on it? And you know what she said?
What?
I don't know, because I just made that story up. No,
Yeah, see.
do I know? Do I walk
The
around drinking
effects-
with a bottle with
The
a nipple on it?
effects of the drink, and you know, I've tried to talk to my son, persuade him, and I am very, very sorry. You don't know how many times I have regretted not sticking to
I'm
resolve,
I'm guessing
not
once,
letting my oldest
once a
son
day, 365 days a year,
life
from 60 years, that's about
food
50 million times,
with a
right?
human being, a mother, instead of, oh, all I need is my bottle and I'll lay here in my little crib away from everybody and I will be okay. I'll survive. And he's still that way. He still does not see any great need for a mother in his life. He's
Okay,
very
let's go with
independent.
the other
He's very-
three now. Let's
and
go with
this
the other
guy,
two boys and the girl.
He can kind of tolerate a woman, but he needs that a lot more than he needs a woman. He needs it.
I'm 76 years old. What the hell am I going to do with
And
a
he was
woman?
raised in the Spock age
What the hell
where
am I going to do with a
uh,
woman?
a little
50
kid
years ago, I
was-
might have still used one, but
Yeah,
that's,
he was
man, that's a long
dependent.
time
He
ago.
does not have a strong bond to his mother.
Well, she's dead. She died in 1970. What? Yeah.
Well, he has no strong bond to any woman. No woman comes before
You
this.
gotta be kidding
That's
me.
how you can tell how a child has been ruined, absolutely ruined, by no breastfeeding mom. No idea that a human being is that important, can be
Now-
that important to your survival.
Well, now we're just, talking, and whether this goes anyplace. As far as I can put it on my old geezers thing, but here's the thing now. Think about this for a minute. Eleanor's got 6 kids, right?
Yes.
4 boys within 7 years. Do you think she was breastfeeding everybody?
She should have been, and she probably wouldn't even got pregnant. If she
That's a
breastfed,
new one. I never heard that before.
if she said, and she'd fought to breastfeed, let that fierce mother instinct kick in instead of suppressing it.
Well, when you're
suppressing it.
16 years old, what the hell, And
like,
getting married for money.
and my
why
dad,
not?
he'd have probably tolerated her breastfeeding very well because he was a rancher. and he was
What's
milk
pregnancy
10
got
cows.
to do with
He
breastfeeding?
saw that, we used to say, the milk calves always suffered because they were put away from their mother, and the cows in the wilds, their calves always stayed with their mother, so they would get fat and sassy.
Well,
The milk calves were
why
always
do you want to
neurotic,
get fat and
pathetic
sassy?
little kids,
You're
you
fat
know,
and
they were like
sassy.
pathetic little kids. We'd turn them into the milk cow to get their milk, and they would drink it as fast as they could, and then they'd get kicked out, and they didn't see their mother all day, because, you know, she had to get her milk so you could milk it. And
She had to actually
human
go eat, didn't
consumption.
she?
So,
I mean,
these
those
poor
cows
milk
eat.
calves, I'd always feel sorry for them. They were always neurotic. They were always pathetic.
Well, I tell you what, you
And-
shouldn't have let those cattle and cows read Dr. Spock. They should not be reading
Well,
that.
that's right. They were
I
Dr.
told you
Spock
that. Don't
cows.
let your cow read Dr. Spock because it's going to
He should have seen those neurotic little milk calves, that pathetic. Oh, where's our mom? Oh my God! Then they'd run them in, and they could suck for 10 minutes. Oh, that'll be enough to keep them alive, and kick them out again. They were virtual orphans.
Well, you know, now that you're talking about that, you brought that subject so down low. How would you like to be born a male? Oh, he looks good. He looks real good, you know. And then, oh, guess what? We got a surprise for you, son. Step into this little area over here. And this is going to take a little snip right off here, and you're going to feel real good.
Oh, circumcision.
Circumcision? What are you talking about? You cut your balls off. That ain't circumcision. Believe me, that isn't.
Well,
Obviously, you do not know anything about anything anymore.
I know, and I'd argue with the doctor and say, now don't. Well, the last kid, I was determined he wasn't going to have a circumcision. So the doctor said, well, I'll just cut a little tiny bit off that he really needs.
That's funny. That's funny.
He obviously
That-
thought
that's
I was
cute.
start blaming
I
that.
just nipped
Well,
a
my
little bit there,
husband, he was
and-
delivered by a country midwife. He never had a circumcision. I couldn't see that it bothered him at
Well,
all.
I didn't get one either.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Oh, well. Well, anyway,
I had to
folks,
do it myself
after
when I
giving
was a
you my
teenager.
take on breastfeeding and so on, I guess I'm going to call a halt and hope.
And don't forget to
Take
show off that
it to heart.
spiff off your dress there. It looks real good. doesn't it? Look at that.
Okay, bye-bye.